the latest ITV news in the Tyne region with Amy Lee and Ian Payne.
Hello there, good evening. Welcome to ITV News Time Tees. Tonight's headlines.
A no-go zone. Bus services to an estate in Stockton are stopped after a string of attacks by vandals.
The thieves targeting our Christmas deliveries and how we can protect our parcels.
Road to recovery. We meet the Newcastle fan who had a stroke during the Carabao Cup final and is finally back at home.
And a little bit of stardust is being sprinkled over Newcastle as a space-inspired festival enchants the city for the next few days.
Thank you for joining us this Wednesday evening. And first tonight, and bus services have come under attack by vandals on Teesside.
Last night in Stockton, 2 services had to be suspended in the Hardwick area.
Police say it's been going on for weeks, and this afternoon they put a dispersal order in place and say they will be stepping up patrols. Katie Cole reports.
This is one of the buses that had to be taken out of service in Stockton last night. Windows smashed and for passengers a lifeline gone. For those who rely on public transport, frustration, this has happened again.
Dreadful when, the drivers, the majority of the drivers are so nice. So why do wicked young people, I presume, throw things at the buses? What's the point of that?
That's a youth today, isn't it? No respect.
If they're going to carry on like this, people are going to be frightened to go, aren't they?
Once I get home from work, I double lock the front door and I don't go out. Because we're that frightened.
Cleveland police say since the end of November, buses in Hardwick and Thornaby have had things thrown at them while they were moving. And today the bus company Stagecoach North East said it was deeply concerned by the vandalism. It told us these mindless acts endanger lives, damage vital transport services and cause significant disruption for the communities who rely on them. The continued attacks are making it increasingly challenging to sustain reliable services in the area, not only from a safety perspective, but also because buses must be taken off the road for repairs affecting provision the following day. In Hardwick, buses that stop at North Tees Hospital have been impacted, and at the nearby community centre, staff say it can't go on.
This has been happening for weeks and weeks now. It's just a small number of individuals that are creating havoc on the estate, literally havoc on the estate. The bus services, they're a vital line for the community.
And as night falls in Hardwick, action is being taken to try and stop this happening. It's just gone 4 o'clock and a police dispersal order has just come into place. That gives police the power to ask anybody who they believe are in the area to cause antisocial behaviour to leave. The order's in place for 48 hours. And officers are also asking parents and carers tonight to speak to their children and find out where they are and what they're doing. While there has thankfully been no injuries so far, they say everyone needs to be aware of how dangerous this behaviour can be. Well, very dangerous for the bus drivers, and I did speak to one of them today who said in the last few weeks his bus has been vandalised twice, and he said it's a pretty frightening thing to come to work at the moment and that some areas of Stockton feel like a bit of a no-go zone. We also know that it's not just buses that have been vandalised. Police say last night in the Hardwick area bricks were thrown at a fire engine and there have been reports of children setting fire to bins. That dispersal order is in place until Friday afternoon and police say they will have an increased presence in the area. They say that residents should speak to them if they are concerned and are asking anybody that witnesses any antisocial behaviour to report it to them.
OK, Katie, in Stockton for us this evening. Thank you very much.
Well, meanwhile, the government have today unveiled a new national youth strategy, promising a boost to services for young people across the country.
Ministers say that it will help to provide places to go, things to do and access to support.
Our political correspondent Tom Sheldrick has more on this. Tom.
Yes, Ian, the Culture Secretary, Lisa Nandy, says that young people now are the most digitally connected but also the most isolated in generations. So the government are spending £500 million to try to change that. Across England, they are pledging to deliver 250 new or refurbished youth centres over the next 4 years and 50 so-called Young Futures hubs, where youth workers and other professionals will support those at risk of harm. One of the first hubs is due to open in County Durham by next March. Ministers say there should be access to activities and opportunities wherever you're from. We spoke to some students at Middlesbrough College about their experiences.
In Middlesbrough, there's not much to do, honestly. We are always isolated. If you're not home playing PS5 and stuff, then you're in college studying.
Going through COVID here was a very, very difficult time. However, there was some ups, I guess, having the supports, and the friends that I have now. I feel like we should have more opportunities, both in education and just in general as well, because I feel like that isn't enough for my age range.
Now, in terms of the politics, Labour claimed that youth services were decimated under Conservative government funding cuts and that young people have faced a lost decade. The Tories have hit back. They say that young people need real jobs and real prospects, but claim that Labour are mismanaging the economy, and so the outlook for the next generation, they say, is increasingly bleak.
Tom Sheldrick in London for us. Tom, thank you.
Now, next tonight, like thousands of Newcastle United fans, Mark Todd went to Wembley last March for the Carabao Cup final. He didn't, though, get to see his team lift the trophy.
Instead, he was rushed to hospital during the game. He arrived in hospital before the match had even finished. Aged just 43, he'd suffered a serious stroke.
After nearly 9 months in hospital, he got to come home to Cramlington less than 2 weeks ago. His life changed by the illness, and also by the arrival of the baby that he thought he might never meet. Tom Barton has been to meet them both.
So that day, I fully expected to see my team hopefully win the game, lift the trophy, and then come home again.
This is the 65th EFL Cup final.
And then, just before half-time, I was like, something doesn't feel right.
So is there to be a breakthrough in today's
The guy next to us goes, do you want to get the medics? I was like, I think you better hat.
Dan Burn puts Newcastle in front in the last seconds of the first.
Can you see? Cool.
When Mark Todd had a stroke during the Carabao Cup final, all that mattered was surviving to meet his unborn son.
I stopped caring about the football. I was just stuck in the thought of, I don't want my son to not have a father. I don't want that to happen.
By the time Mark's beloved Newcastle were lifting the trophy, he was in hospital. The fast action of the fans around him saving his life.
I don't think I could ever say thank you to anybody enough, because I am the type of person that would tell Mark to walk it off. I'd have told him he was too excited.
And actually, what he really needed was
medical attention. Yeah, medical attention and a diagnosis fast, and that's exactly what happened. And it was absolutely down to the people who were around him at that match.
3 months later, although still in hospital, Mark was well enough to be at the maternity unit when Emmett was born. He then spent 6 months rehabilitating at the Walkergate Park Centre in Newcastle. When he arrived, they asked him one important question.
What are your goals? What do you want to get out of this static? Very simple for me. I've been stretched in. I want to walk out. I'm going out on my 2 feet. Ultimately, I was able to walk out of Walkergate Park. It felt great. It really did. All the work, all the time that was which is worth it.
That's work now continuing at home. But Mark says his illness could, perhaps, have been avoided if he'd followed up on a simple message from his GP.
I got invited to do like an over 40s check at the doctors, where they would take things like your blood pressure. And I thought, I feel fine. I don't need to go to that. I wish I had, because the medical, or you've got a higher blood pressure, here's some medication, none of this year. Well,
his message for others: don't make the same mistake.
You've got no excuse. Don't go through what I went through. I don't want a family to potentially lose a member, a father, a mother, whatever. I don't want that to happen. So let me take this one for the team and everyone else get checked. Because if there's something there, we'll help you. If there's not, good news.
Thanks to Newcastle fans, the medical profession, and Mark's hard work, he is now around to see his son grow up. Tom Barton, ITV News, Cramlington.
Wow, that is just the most incredible, powerful story. It's such an important message, but it's very emotional, actually, just seeing how well Mark is doing.
It's something to see.
Little boy.
Mark told us as well that little baby Emmett there, Emmett's middle name is Stephen, and that's named after the fan who was next to Mark on the day at the final, and he says helped save his life.
That's incredible.
Very special. Mark, we wish you and your family a great Christmas.
Absolutely.
Take it easy tonight, won't you, when you're watching the Champions League? Newcastle in action tonight as well. You're watching ITV News Time Tea. Still to come on tonight's programme. Within touching distance, Middlesbrough are just 5 points from Championship leaders Coventry after last night's win.
The real thing or a replica? Talk of replacing Whitby's iconic whalebone arch as it falls into disrepair.
And Storm Bram has now cleared away, but further blustery winds today, and there's more unsettled weather to come through the next few days. I'll have more on that later in the programme.
Next tonight, a few of you will relate to this one. Have you ever ordered a parcel, had confirmation that it has been delivered, but then not been able to find it?
Yep.
If so, you're not alone. Around 5 million households, it's reckoned, have been the victim of at least one stolen delivery in the last year.
Yeah, new figures show that 1 in 8 people in the North East were affected by parcel theft. Chloe Oliver reports.
It's a crime carried out by brazen thieves right under our noses. And in December, when deliveries peak, so do crimes like these, making the festive season the riskiest time of year for parcels. We've been given special access inside Every's largest parcel distribution centre in Europe. And now, during their busiest period, they're currently handling 4 million parcels a day.
It's really important we deliver it safely and responsibly, which is why we use technology to help the courier on the doorstep. So we use things like proof. We're the only parcel firm to use proof of delivery. So that's a photo at the doorstep, and then we use AI, which actually analyses that photo to make sure it's been left where the courier says it's been left. On the very rare occasions when something does go wrong, they can get a call back from our customer service team within 24 hours. We've also just introduced new technology where actually you can message the courier directly as well.
According to new figures in the North East, around 1 in 8 residents have experienced parcel theft. That's around 5 million homes across the country affected just this year, which adds up to around £666 million worth of stolen goods, a 77% rise from 2024. So what can we do to make sure we get our parcels safely delivered?
I'm entitled to goods to be received within a reasonable length of time, therefore you are in breach of contract. Please ensure that I receive the items within 7 days.
Consumer expert Helen, who brands herself as the complaining cow, says there's an important difference in whether or not you list a safe place.
Parcel theft is on the increase, but that's because online shopping is on the increase. So there are more parcels for opportunists to steal, really. But it's important to remember your consumer rights. So under the Consumer Rights Act 2015, your contract is with the retailer and not the courier. And that safe place must be designated by you, not by them. Sometimes you hear the companies say it's been left in your safe place. If you haven't left one, then there isn't one. So your contract is with the retailer and you need to get a replacement or a refund from them.
To help reduce the risk of your parcel being stolen, police advise installing a video doorbell and security lights, tracking your parcel so you know when to be home for a delivery, or arranging for it to be delivered to a trusted neighbour.
Back at the distribution centre, staff are working to make sure as many parcels as possible reach their intended destination. A Christmas goal shared by someone else who's preparing to deliver billions of parcels on Christmas Eve. Chloe Oliver, ITV News.
And the ITV Evening News continues after us at 6:30 tonight with Mary.
Coming up on the programme, the family of an elderly man who died on a hospital corridor say they feel let down by the NHS. The first overhaul of youth services since the invention of the smartphone, and
Sir Roger Daltrey for services to charity and to music.
The Who frontman is knighted by Prince William. Would you join me for those stories and more at 6:30?
To sport now. Newcastle United continue their push for a top 8 spot in the Champions League tonight in Germany. The Magpies face Bayer Leverkusen, who are just a point behind them in the table as it stands. It's the first meeting between the two teams since the 2003 Champions League group stages. On that occasion, the Magpies won both games. Eddie Howe says it's important his side get a positive result to keep up momentum in the Champions League. While for striker Nick Voldemade, it's a chance to show his home country how he's changed since joining the Magpies in the summer.
This will be a really tough game. Leverkusen are an outstanding football team. They play a really good style, very true to their identity. They never deviate from it. Got some really good players, so this will be a tough game, but also another test of how far we've come and how far we've got to go.
I'm really excited to come back to Germany. I said already often I feel already like home in Newcastle too, but if I'm honest, to come always to your hometown and like to your home country again, it's always feeling good. And yeah, now I'm really happy to be here. I played here some games with my old teams. They didn't went well, so I'm really excited.
Well, turning to the Championship, and Middlesbrough boss Kim Hellberg was delighted to see his side adapt their game to get 3 points last night.
Borough beat Charlton Athletic 2-1 at the Valley, making it 3 wins in a row for the Borough head coach. Chris Conway has more.
In the end, it took last-ditch defending to secure all 3 points against Charlton. But a win's a win, and that's now 3 wins from 3 for Kim Hellberg.
I think we killed the game off a little bit, and then they get that transition on transition, get that goal, and then of course against their home fans it becomes loudly, but we defended very, very good.
Charlton had lost their last 4 games before facing Borough, and it was all Middlesbrough from the off, their confidence eventually delivering rewards. A well-worked goal starting out wide allowed Kim Hellberg's team to strike, and after that it didn't take too long to add a second. Given how comfortable it had been, Middlesbrough would have been forgiven for thinking it was job done. But that's never the case in the Championship, and they had to stand firm in the second half. Eventually, Charlton's pressure tooled. A defensive mix-up gifted them a goal, but it was nothing more than a consolation, because Middlesbrough were determined to take all 3 points back to Teesside, much to the delight of more than 2,000 Borough fans who made the long trip south.
A Tuesday in London, long travel, and they be here supporting us. I think that is absolutely brilliant. To win different kind of games in different kind of circumstances is credit to all the boys, and something that hopefully can hold us strong towards the end of the season as well. Again, very proud of the players, very proud of the supporters and the fans and everyone around the club. Very good. Well done. Well done.
The result keeps Middlesbrough second, but the gap to first is now just 5 points. It's QPR up next, with all eyes on whether Kim Hellberg can make it 4 wins from 4. Chris Conway, ITV News.
Going well for Borough, isn't it? Now, this is a talking point. It is one of Whitby's most famous landmarks. It is the Whalebone Arch, of course. It's been a symbol of the area's maritime history since 1853, but it's now falling into disrepair.
Yeah, faced with the question of whether replacing the bones would be ethical in current times, North Yorkshire Council is considering installing a replica arch instead, but that has been met with the disapproval of some. Michael Billington reports.
As far as Whitby icons go, it's up there alongside the Abbey, the harbour, even the humble tray of fish and chips. For years, the whalebone arch has made an ideal frame for countless holiday snaps and has been the location for many a declaration of love. What made you have your wedding photos under the arch?
Well, our first proper trip away when we got together many years ago, about 11 and a half, 12 years ago, was to Whitby. It's a beautiful place. We love Whitby, always have, always will do. Just the right place to do it.
They're in a bit of a sorry state now, though, aren't they?
They are. It's very sad, yes.
There's been a whalebone arch here since the mid-19th century, and although these are not the originals, the latest installation of bones is starting to show their age. Last replaced in 2003, the then US President George Bush gave special permission for the current bones to be sent over from Alaska. So you're not lobbying the White House, you're not onto the Trump administration at the moment?
I'm not sure what Donald Trump's view about exporting whale bones might be, but I'm not in a position to try and find out. Thank you very much.
And so North Yorkshire Council's considering, among other options, installing a replica arch, which they believe is the most sustainable and ethical solution. They really are exposed to the elements, aren't they?
Well, they are. You couldn't be in a worse place to take all the weather that we do get in Whitby. They are cracking, they're deteriorating, and the bone is actually coming apart in places.
How would you feel about a replica rather than the real thing being placed there?
To be quite honest, if there's no other way to turn, then yes, we would have a replica rather than nothing at all. But if there is the possibility that there are proper whale bones there that we can utilise, that would be the road we would prefer to go down.
A stopgap is a repair, I think. And, it's not going to be right, but, a repair is better than them falling down. Keep the originals as long as possible. Bear in mind the possible replica, but a lot of replicas that you see look like replicas.
It would be better if they replaced them with like for like, yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that the history of Whitby is, although some people might not like it, embedded in whaling, and therefore it should be the real thing for the real Whitby.
No, not really. They're irreplaceable, aren't they?
These old bones, then, perhaps in need of a facelift fit for the 21st century. Michael Billington, ITV News, in Whitby.
Yeah, certainly a talking point. Now next, the magic of outer space is being sprinkled like stardust across Newcastle as the city centre gets a cosmic makeover for a new event called Enchanted City. For 4 days, the city will come alive with lights and space-inspired wonders.
Julia Barthram is there for us tonight as preparations get underway. Julia.
Yes, I am in the fire garden of Enchanted City, a brand new winter festival taking place in Newcastle, and this year it is space themed, inspired by all things cosmic. You can see behind me the solar system there, the sun with lots of solar flares going off because we're in a period of high solar activity at the moment. And I'm standing by a globe with 36 little dogs sitting on it. They represent the 36 dogs that have been sent into space over the years. Not all with happy endings, but let's not dwell on that. This is, as I say, just one of the installations. There are light projections, there are puppetry, there are statues and sculptures. There is a lot going on, and it's all been organised by Maddie Morn. Can you tell me what is Enchanted City?
Enchanted City is a new festive experience. It's a multi-art form after dark experience made up of lots of different things for people to see from artists that are based here in Newcastle, like Moving Parts Arts, who are doing puppetry, and Studio Vertigo with a couple of light installations, and artists from further afield like Anne Now, who have delivered this fire garden for us.
I think we can see in the background we've got some seekers moving around the fire garden. They're going to be here talking to visitors when they arrive. Why did you decide to hold this at this time of year?
We wanted to offer an alternative festive experience for people. So obviously there's the Christmas markets, there's lots of light trails that we know happen. This is a real arts experience for people, so it's giving opportunities to our local creatives and artists across the country for audiences to come and take part in something truly creative and enjoyable and interactive.
Thank you very much. Well, one of those creatives who's designed one of the exhibitions that's here on display is with me now. This is Adam Finley from Novak, a creative studio. I think we can see coming up some pictures of your exhibit. Just talk me through, what is it?
We've created a brand new piece of work called Signal, which is a large-scale projection onto the Ellison building here at Northumbria University, which is all about messages that have been sent and received between Earth and the cosmos.
And you exhibit all around the world. How is it to have the chance to do something here in your home city?
That's fantastic. We're extremely proud of being based here in Newcastle, and we love the fact that we get the opportunity to travel all over the world doing stuff, but there's nothing better than creating a piece of work and presenting it here in our home city and being able to share it with our friends and family.
Thank you. Good luck for the next few days. Well, as I say, the exhibition starts tomorrow. It's a hive of activity around the city centre at the moment as people are getting things set up and putting all the final finishing touches on lights and sculptures. It's a ticketed event and it is on for the next 4 days. It's selling well, but there's still a lot of tickets left, so plenty of chance to come along and see some space-themed, interactive exhibits.
Julia, thank you very much indeed. That looks pretty spectacular, doesn't it?
It does, it looks great.
That's more impressive than the globe with the dogs on for me, but,
Oh,
that's
I was
really
quite
good.
interested in that.
That's really good. We think it costs about £12.50 for an adult to go along, so work that out for a family price, but it looks rather good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I did check, no Northern Lights tonight,
Oh,
actually.
that would be perfect.
Yeah, it would have been perfect, although I often get it wrong, so who knows, maybe they will.
Maybe they will.
And a better night tonight maybe than previously. The winds have died down a bit. We did get gusts around 50 miles an hour in Newcastle as Storm Bram moved through 70 miles an hour in parts of North Yorkshire. Here it is, 3 days of Storm Bram condensed to 10 seconds. That swirl of cloud. Funny one, the rain arrived first, heavy rain, and then the wind sort of took a bit of a break and then arrived a bit later on in our part of the world. But yes, the rain still working its way out of the system, and if we do have a look at York today, where the river did peak, that's the Ouse, it peaked at 3.5 metres this afternoon, about 1.5 metres above the top of the normal range. Not too unusual for the Ouse to flood here, but it does show here on this map white patches where we've already had December's average rainfall in the first 9 days. A couple of patches in our region there, and there is a bit more rain on the way, I'm afraid. And here's your forecast.
An icy start to the day will give way to a series of oohs and ahs. 2 week sponsors ITV, Tyne weather.
We still have some blustery winds as we make our way overnight, but they're coming up from that southwesterly direction. So again, those temperatures holding up. It's mild as we make our way into tomorrow morning. Sunny spells take us through tomorrow daylight hours. Later on, though, some patchy rain is arriving from the west once again. Short-lived, it'll fizzle out, actually into Friday. Again, not looking too bad. Low pressure nearby at the moment. There's the storm system. That's cleared away. This is the area of rain later tomorrow into Friday morning as it clears through. Again, plenty of winter sunshine. Keeping a watch on Saturday into Sunday, though. Another area of rain moving in from the west once again, and another squeeze on those isobars showing some blustery winds approaching. So keeping a watch on that through the next few days. It could bring some rainfall to some already saturated ground in our part of the world. For now, though, it should stay dry overnight. Those winds coming up from that southwesterly direction, they're pushing in the cloud. It's coming and going, but we do see some clearer skies. But even underneath prolonged clearer skies, with that milder air mass over the UK, temperatures do hold up at around 7 or 8 degrees. So yes, into tomorrow morning, for the time of year, it's another mild start to the day. We've got those brighter breaks developing. Yes, the cloud is coming and going, but again, it'll stay dry through daylight hours. Those winds still coming up from that southerly, southwesterly direction. So as we saw today, temperatures getting up to around 10 or 11 degrees. So in the sunshine, out of the winds, actually not feeling too bad at all. It's later Thursday into Friday. We start to watch the west. There's the area of rain there. As it moves its way further east, a lot of that will start to peter out. So for many of us, it's just thicker cloud, bit of drizzle taking us into the first part of Friday as it begins to push its way further east, and behind that we see those clearer skies. Making our way through the weekend, cloud likely to increase, bringing some spells of rain, temperatures still above the average for the time of year.
2 week sponsors ITV, Tyne weather.
Thank you, Ross. In just a moment then, the national and the international news.
I'll be back later with the update. Thank you for your company. Let's have another look at the Enchanted City at Newcastle. Good night.